I'd like to call this meeting of the Brooklyn City Council to order. Mary Jo, you do the roll call.
Kevin Tansky.
Here.
Andy Selhertz.
Here.
Katie Gallagher.
Here.
Tony DeMarco.
Here.
Ron Van Kirk.
Here.
Kathy Pucci.
Here.
Mary Belbeer.
Here.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance.
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We first have the approval of the minutes from October 14th, 2014. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve. Second.
To approve, Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Abstain.
Ron Van Kirk. Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
We will now proceed with our regular council meeting. Good evening, everyone. This week, council, the finance director, and the mayor will meet this Tuesday, the 27th, and Thursday, the 29th, at 6 p.m. in the City Hall Conference Room to continue discussions about the budget. We also hear from Eric Wires from Johnson Controls at 6 p.m. on Thursday about a generator for the Recreation Center, and at 6:30 from Great Lakes Ambulance about our current billing process. Tonight, the mayor is asking for the reappointment of Jacqueline Patton on the Board of Directors for University Hospital Parma Medical Center. Her current term expires May 31st, 2015, and that she has a new 3-year term that would begin June 1st, 2015. The service director is asking council to approve a 1-year full maintenance service program bid for Recreation Center that will cover refrigeration, heating, ventilating, and air conditioning. The lowest and best bid was from K Company in the amount of $26,868. There was a bid opening for the new fire alarm system, but there were no bids submitted due to the availability of equipment. The service director is asking for a rebid that would include specifics for these devices that will be compatible. On second reading tonight is an ordinance to increase wages for the assistant building commissioner from the range of $51,000 to $61,000 to the new range of $51,000 to $69,000. We have a new ordinance tonight from the service director requesting the purchase of a Falcon asphalt recycler and hotbox trailer from National Joint Powers Alliance for $33,709. He's requesting council pass this by emergency so it could be used in the winter months. We have a new ordinance from the recreation manager asking council to establish fees for exercise classes between $25 and $85 per course for residents and corporate members with an ID card, between $35 and $90 per course for Parma Heights members with an ID card, and between $40 and $95 per course for non-residents or other participants. There will also be a walk-in rate of between $4 to $10 per class for residents and corporate with an ID, between 5 and 11 for Parma Heights residents, and between 6 and 12 for other non-residents. Any person holding an annual or monthly recreation pass can now participate in any recreation center run exercise program without additional charges. And lastly, the ordinance sets a rate between $11 and $25 per hour for any exercise instructor unless it is an independent contractor, which will be on a case-to-case basis. The last ordinance we have on here is to enter an agreement for natural gas. There was a hiccup in our work session earlier, so we are going to put this ordinance in abeyance tonight. At this time, we'll have a public session. If anyone has anything for the good and welfare of the city of Brooklyn, please step forward, state your name, address, including city, and keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. Okay, we will now move on to reports of committees, commissions, and boards. First up is the Finance Committee, Councilwoman Pucci.
Thank you. Good evening. The Finance Committee met earlier this evening at 6:30, and just a reminder, these meetings are open to the public. We addressed the following items on our agenda this evening. We recommended council approve the approving the bid for 1-year maintenance and service agreement for the HVAC systems at the John M. Coyne Recreation Center. That's for the low and best bid was the K Company for $26,868. We did receive one other bid, Smith and Boy, for $30,000. We also recommended council authorize re-advertising for bids for the fire alarm system at the service department. The equipment that was specified in the bid was no longer available, so we didn't receive any bids, so we're going to re-advertise for that. We're going to have further discussion on ordinance number 2015-1, which deals with the pay range for the assistant building commissioner. We recommended council pass by emergency the purchase of the asphalt recycler and hot box, and that total is $33,709. The recreation ordinance is going to be on first reading this evening, and I would just add one more thing, that the current rate for compensation for the instructors is $5.50 to $15. And Ms. Gallagher also mentioned that we're going to hold ordinance 2015-4 in abeyance. We do have the possibility of a special meeting for this Thursday to address this if everything works out and we can get all the information. Mr. Enovich distributed some information for our budget work sessions that'll be conducted later this week. He gave us an update on his IT expenditures for this year that he's working on, and shared that the proposed capital budget for our signage for the city is $125,000. Talked a little bit about trying to nail down what the impact of House Bill 5 will be on the city. This was, we've discussed it before, changes that the state made in our income tax collection. And I believe that completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Recreation Board, Councilman Tansky.
Thank you. Youth Soccer Recreation League. Registration for boys and girls will be held at the John M. Coyne Recreation Center on the following dates: February 8th through February 28th, during regular business hours. Program accepts children ages 3 through 8 years of age. Birth certificate must be presented at the time of registration. Residents must show a current resident identification card. Parent volunteer coach applications will be available at registration. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Legislative update, Councilwoman Balbier.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. A matter that has been in the spotlight that we have touched on before is the so-called red light laws dealing with the use of cameras to record people breaking red light and speeding laws. In the lame duck session, Senate Bill 342 was passed and is now law. It provides for a uniform system of statewide regulation that its sponsor, Senator Seitz, claims does not eliminate the proliferation of red light speed cameras, but it will curtail it. Basically, the same bill passed in 2006, but it was vetoed by the then Governor Taft. Actually, the House of Representatives had a bill to eliminate the cameras altogether, but Senator Seitz and others felt that it may violate home rule provisions of the Ohio Constitution. So they added the restriction that any municipality can have cameras as long as a certified law enforcement officer is present to personally witness the violation. So individual cities are going to have to determine if monetarily it makes sense to put a full-time officer at their cameras. Newburgh Heights City, for instance, announced they are planning to hire full-time police officers to station near its traffic cameras to put them in compliance with the new state law. We'll just have to see what all the cities are going to be implementing. Something that's kind of interesting to me about these cameras is you don't know really, is it really for safety or do they really want to make money? So it's your call. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. The Planning Commission will meet Thursday, February 5th at 6 p.m. in the Brooklyn City Hall Conference Room to hear a request from Leon Sampat of LS Architects for a new 577 square foot exterior walk-in cooler and freezer for Ridge Manor Banquet Center located at 4630 Ridge Road, and also a request from Edward Hadid Jr. of Clear Semp Construction and Engineering for a 518 square foot addition on the front of Car Truck Packaging building located at 7315 Associate Avenue. And lastly, we'll hear from School Board Liaison, Councilman Sellards.
Thank you. On Tuesday, January 19th, the Board of Education held its regular monthly meeting at 6 p.m. in room 173. Meeting started off with a student achievement presentation by several fourth graders regarding project-based learning. If you've watched the television shows Shark Tank and/or The Apprentice, this is basically what the fourth graders did in promoting a product. In this case, it was a lemonade stand. The Board of Education also commended that evening the following students for National Honor Society inductees: Samantha Gotti, Sarah Hugel, Shannon Smith. Also going into a National Arts Honor Society inductee is Esma Ideb. Item 6.1 in the Treasurer's recommendations was the resolution declaring an intent to proceed with election on the question of a renewal of an existing tax levy in excess of the 10 mil limitation. It was passed by the board unanimously. It is being put on the May ballot. Should it not pass, it will be put on the November ballot as well. The levy currently brings in approximately $1.5 million. This represents about 11% of the total operating budget. If it does not pass and a new levy is requested, the new levy now by state law would not qualify for the homestead exemption. Also, about $260,000 will be lost in state and reimbursements. If a new levy was required, should the current renewal levy not pass, the millage needed to replace the revenue would have to increase. At the end of the business meeting, a segment was devoted to other business. There was a lengthy discussion as to how to approach the search for a new school superintendent. Board members were to email their thoughts to Mr. Hopkins and Mr. Singer by this past Friday. There will be a work session on Monday, February 2nd, in the Treasurer's office at 6 p.m. This meeting is open to the public. For other items discussed at the meeting or other meetings, go to the school's website and go to Board of Education tab and click on Board Docs. Safe Routes to Schools had a meeting on Wednesday, January 21st. Most of the meeting was taken up in reviewing the contract with Hermes. Hermes is a sports management company that will be setting up and conducting a 1-mile family walk run and also a 5K to be held on the morning of Saturday, October 3rd, 2015. This will also start the signal the start of Walk to School Week. Upcoming events include Cinderella is coming to Brooklyn on March 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's going to be a production with combined with the Drama Club and the Music Department. Brooklyn Athletic Brewsters will be holding their annual Brooklyn Night at the Races, February 21st. Contact Michelle Rivera at 952-7569 or Patty Gotti at 216-215-7738 for tickets. Next board meeting is Tuesday, February 17th, 2015 in room 173 at the high school at 6 p.m. The public is welcome and encouraged to attend. Is your school system for your children. That concludes my report.
Thank you. We will now move on to reports of council, and first up tonight is Kevin Tansky.
Thank you. I received numerous calls again on the streetlights on Ridge Road not being synchronized from North Cliff to Bidoff. Chief Melky, can you give us an update on the synchronization of these traffic lights on Ridge? I guess especially during rush hours when I'm getting hit with too.
We were just in contact with the county last week about this. They're still waiting for CEI to put some new electrical work at the ends so they can install the new timing modules.
Okay.
So we still don't have a date when CEI is going to have that complete. All right? Correct.
Okay, thank you. Ordinance 2015-2, authorizing the purchase of a Falcon asphalt recycler and hot box trailer and accessories for the use by the service department for a total of $33,709 through the National Joint Powers Alliance contract. I've been supporting this hot box for a long time. When our service department now patches holes in our streets, the asphalt will stay hot. Chuck holes should now stay filled for a longer period of time. This ordinance is long overdue. I fully support this ordinance, and I urge council to do the same. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Andy Sellards.
Thank you. The purchase of the hot box is on the agenda tonight. Thank you to Mr. Verba and his staff in getting the presentation together. A few of us council members were there one morning a week ago to actually see how it works. With this purchase, the service department is getting one more step forward into doing things a little bit better and more efficiently. Also, that morning, it was nice to see some of the work progressing on the facilities at the garage itself. The ventilation system is being worked on, so people don't have to work in exhaust fumes in there. And also, the lighting in there is improving immensely. From what used to be dim, it's now pretty nice and pretty bright. Once again, I would like to remind the people that the Board of Education is holding a work session on Monday, February 2nd, in the Treasurer's office at 6 p.m. Meeting is open to the public. One of the topics, and probably the main topic, will be the discussion on the approach in hiring the new school superintendent with the aid of a firm or not, and at what cost and what extent the help will be provided by the firm. The end decision of this whole process can have an effect on the school district for the next number of years. Brooklyn Youth Football is holding an all-you-can-eat and drink wing night Saturday, January 31st at 7 p.m. at Bleachers at 6855 Ridge Road in Parma. This is an adult-only event. There will be 50-50 raffle baskets and their usual stuff that they usually do. Also, on February 13th, Brooklyn Reformed Church Kids Club will be holding a spaghetti dinner. It's going to be eat-in or carry-out, and the cost for the dinner, it's going to be from 5 to 7:30 p.m. The cost for the dinner is just per donation, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Tony DeMarco.
Good evening. I had no intention of discussing the calendar situation I raised at the last meeting. However, I did receive a few phone calls and a follow-up email from a resident on the subject, and the resident asked that their views be made known to council and the rest of the citizens of Brooklyn. And it reads in part, I feel compelled to comment on the calendar issue raised at the last council meeting. To me, it is not as much a monetary situation as it is a communication and mindset situation. If the residents had been informed mid-year that the calendars were not going to be mailed this year and where they would be available, all this ruckus could have been avoided. Incidentally, how is this a money-saving step when you have paid thousands of dollars for calendars that are not distributed and therefore unused? In addition, sadly, I'm troubled by the comments made by the council president that younger residents like her throw the calendar in the trash and that she and her husband rely totally on the computer. I do have a computer, but many of my family members and friends do not. And although they are not young or technologically savvy, they did elect the council members and rely on them to be concerned about every resident in the city, young or old. And that's all I'm really going to say on that subject. Finally, last Friday, I was able to attend, along with the mayor and some of his staff and councilperson Pucci, a quick walkthrough at Martin's Ambulance up on Brook Park Road. For those of you that are not aware, they moved to our city a few years back and brought probably 400 plus jobs from Middleburg Heights. And the inside, what this guy's done to this facility has been unbelievable. And we were privileged enough to get a tour of it. So I want to thank Martin's Ambulance and the Martin's family for making the long-term decision to move their operation to the city of Brooklyn. And it was nice to see that they're fulfilling their part in the job creation grant, and we were able to provide them a check as reimbursement as part of our agreement. And that's all I have.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Hinkirk.
Thank you. First, I'd like to give an update about on the safety committee meeting. We did meet last week to discuss various topics regarding the fire department. The chief had requested nearly $90,000 in additional expenditures to fully outfit the new fire truck. The chief gave his reasons as to why the city needs both a new and backup truck. The committee had discussions further regarding the need versus the affordability of equipping and operating both trucks into the future. The committee also discussed that Brooklyn has been without a backup engine for nearly 2 years. Also, the committee discussed the continued need for a ladder truck like the one we currently have. We also discussed various ways to increase revenue from ambulance runs made by the fire department, and the chief is working with outside counsel regarding this, and we'll have further meetings about that, as Ms. Gallagher already mentioned. The committee voted 2-1 to refer the $90,000 of expenditures onto the finance committee to the overall budget approval for further consideration. Also, the committee discussed that the manning at the fire station on a 24-hour shift includes 6 firefighters/paramedics and 2 lieutenants. A 7th part-time paramedic is also used frequently, bringing the total manning at the station to either 8 or 9. That concludes my report as far as the committee goes. Over the rest of this week, council will meet to conclude discussions on the 2015 budget. The main considerations thus far have to try to begin the trimming process for the impending loss of revenue beginning midway through next year. We have no choice but to make significant cuts in portions of our budget, and that is what council will be working on over these next couple of days, Tuesday and Thursday. In addition to that, I've also proposed 2 additional items that I'd like to see come to fruition. The first of which is something that I have proposed every year that I've been on council, and that is for the budget for an implementation of a full performance audit of each department in Brooklyn. This will allow a fresh set of professional eyes to see what we are doing well and enhance it, as well as what we need to change or eliminate. And in time of impending cuts, this audit needs to take place in order to assure all residents that each dollar is being spent in the most efficient way possible. Secondly, I've also had some conversations with the police chief regarding the construction of a new police station. The number one responsibility of any government, including city government, is safety. The station in which our safety officers are operating now is deteriorating rapidly and is costing our residents thousands of dollars a year in repairs. I've asked the chief to contact a company to give a needs assessment of the new building. The chief has done this, and the basic cost to have this needs assessment done will be around $10,000. There will be other additional charges as we move forward, but they will not be assessed without our prior approval. I urge my fellow council members to vote for the approval of this assessment. We need to begin the planning phase of seeing this much-needed station come to fruition. There are always wants and needs in any family. The same is true in a city. A new police station is a need. We cannot continue operating as we have been for much longer. The building is simply falling apart. If you don't believe me, I would challenge you to get in contact with the police chief, and he'll be happy to show you around down there. They've done the best that they can to, as he would say, put lipstick on a pig down there as much as possible. But the new police station is a need, and it's going to have to be addressed here in the next few years. And so hopefully I'd like to get the ball rolling with this in this budget, with this assessment. Lastly, I had the privilege this last week to visit our nation's capital to march with my pro-life brothers and sisters. Even though there was very little media coverage of the event, more than 300,000 people converged on D.C. to portray the message that, quote, every life is a gift. The rally included stirring speeches from both Republicans and Democrats, as well as regular citizens urging us all to view life as a precious gift from God. It was an honor being there. And also regarding the calendar, I've received some emails as well regarding this. If anyone still needs a calendar, my cell phone number is 216-965-5737. You can feel free to call me. I'll be sure one that gets mailed to you or have one delivered to your home. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Mrs. Pucci.
Thank you. Good evening. I, too, had the privilege of going over to Donald Martin's Ambulance Company on Friday, along with members of the administration, to present them with their check for their job creation grant agreement. I'm going to try not to be redundant from what Mr. DeMarco already mentioned, but this company has made a tremendous investment in our community. In order to qualify, they had to make at least a $1.5 million investment and create a minimum threshold of jobs. I was proud to be on the team that worked to bring them here, along with members of the administration, and Mr. DeMarco also worked to bring them here. So it was a really good day for Brooklyn. It was important for us to bring these new jobs, and this is a win-win for both the company and the city. I too visited the garage week and a half ago, and thank you to Mr. Verba, Mr. Bruzak, Mr. Rini, and Mr. Ray Mass. We got to see a demonstration of the hot box, and we also got to have a conversation about the mechanic's truck. The biggest savings with us getting the hot box will actually be in manpower, I think, because right now we have to buy such small quantities of the asphalt that our employees have to keep going back and forth because we have no way to get it hot. There's a lot of other benefits to this, but I was sold on it. The other issue that's going to come up with our budget meeting was the mechanic's truck. I think we all understand that the current truck that we have is totally obsolete. I mean, it's all rusted out. I think the question for council was how often does it get used, and we had a good conversation with our foreman and also our mechanic that we'll probably talk about a little bit more in our budget meeting, but basically this truck actually goes out every day. I also attended the Safety Committee meeting that Mr. Van Kirk reported on, and as he said, the matter of the equipment for the new engine is now referred to finance, and that will be one of the topics that we also discuss as a whole during our budget meetings this week, and then I expect it to come back to finance for the next council meeting. Regarding the new police station, I do support doing the needs assessment. We had one done before, and we actually had a plan to replace our police station, that we had a 1 mil bond that was going to be paid several years ago, and our plan at the time was then to redirect those funds from that 1 mil to pay for a bond for a new police station. Unfortunately, the Great Recession happened, and we were not able to move forward. I do agree that this has to be a priority. The facilities down there are really lacking on so many different levels, and we do need to move forward with planning for a new police station. I wanted to mention that Ridge Manor is going to be having fish fries again. They're going to start every Friday beginning February 20th from 4 to 9 p.m. They're also going to have live music beginning at 8 to 11. I don't know, they're really well known for their fish fries. I know they're trying to bring in more people, and I would just ask people to consider going to one of their fish fries and give it a try. And also just another reminder to residents to please continue to support our local businesses. This is one of the businesses that was impacted by the construction on Ridge Road, and you know, we want to support our local businesses because we all benefit when our businesses thrive. And one more reminder that the Community Improvement Corporation has their annual meeting Monday, February 2nd at 6 p.m., and that is open to the public. That completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Belvier.
Yes, thank you. I, too, had an opportunity to go to the Brooklyn City Garage and see the hot box, the new Falcon asphalt recycler. And I'd like to thank Mr. Verba, Mr. Tom Brujak, and Mr. Rini. They were so kind and so excited to show this box. The fella came in put it on a trailer, hauled it all the way from Michigan. We got to see it. It looked very odd to me. It looked like something from outer space, but he explained everything. He said that this Falcon hotbox trailer will make fixing potholes, repairing utility cuts, and patching asphalt easy. And when it's used as a hot box, it can keep the asphalt hot all day long and hold it overnight so that it can eliminate waste that occurs when the asphalt hardens in the back of an unheated truck. So you could really see the excitement of the fellas there. They were really wanting this thing, and I think it would make, a lot easier, for the guys working, and it'll just help our city out. It's a win-win situation. I'd also like to thank Mr. Lou Kajeri and Christine. Last week, or at our last council, Lou had invited us to come out there and take a look at what he does as a school crossing guard. He's over there on Bidoff and Ridge. And Lou, that's a phenomenal job you do there. I went there about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and they deal with all kinds of things. People saying things to them, people, just doing all kinds of things to them. They don't like how they cross the kids, or, it's a constant fight. I can see that you have this constant fight. But I really appreciate all you do, and your helper there, Christine. I don't think I could do it, but I really appreciate it. And also, I would just like to say that we're having February 7th is going to be the Taste of Brooklyn. And it's over here, once again, at the Ridge Park St. Theodosius Manor here, and they do a fabulous job. I'm not there, though, folks. I won't be working, but I'll be enjoying it. They're going to have a lot of prizes, and I do recommend going because you get a chance to see some of the students. You hear a fabulous, fabulous band. The kids are so excited. There's a tremendous crowd. The food is very good. So I recommend it. You are supporting our Brooklyn schools. It's the Taste of Brooklyn, February 7th, right over here at our Ridge Park Catering. And let's see how it is. I'd love to see some of the residents out there. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Well, I'd rather end my council notes on something positive, so I'll address Mr. DeMarco once again. And I really feel like at this point I'm wasting all of our time up here because we have vital things to be handling in the city, and we're not talking about them. But council has the job of approving any expenditure over $15,000. Is the calendar, this was an administrative decision. I don't know how many times I have to say that. And as far as me just so happy to be in the room when the conversation come up, I guess it was bad timing for me, apparently. And as far as my comment about I throw the calendar in the recycle bin, and I was just giving my side. This is my perspective. There are people like me. If it was my intention to discount part of the residents of this city, I'd say cut the service totally, but that was not what the intention was. I was saying from the younger population, there are many people that are trending to using the computer. It's a comment. So the money that's spent on me, in particular my household, is wasted money for the city. And that was it. Okay, as part of the marketing steering committee, the city heard a lot of feedback from residents about where they believe the city should be focusing its resources. The number one issue from residents was addressing the appearance of the city property and residential properties. Since then, the city has been very active inspecting house by house, and there's been a push to clean up the city property. So thank you to the building department. There has been a noticeable difference, and to the service garage as well. The marketing committee set 3 goals this year based upon some of the comments from the residents. The first, this year there will be a clean sweep in April, and hopefully, as requested by many residents, there will be a booklet mailed out explaining the city's most common residential property violations and building rules. 2, if approved by council or if we secure a grant, there'll be new Brooklyn signs in 2015. And the third item, on October 3rd from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., the city will hold a fall festival. So far, the Fall Festival Committee has secured a few food trucks, thanks to Mary Jo here. Thirsty Dog is booked, and they'll be serving 10 seasonal beers and root beer. And there'll be a brewer there to answer questions by people, thanks to Mr. Selhertz. Giant Eagle has signed up to sell other refreshments and cook their amazing corn. There will be a tractor ride through Memorial Park and hay mazes for kids. Safe Routes to Schools will hold their 5K and family walk in the morning, ending at the Fall Festival site in the morning. We are collaborating with our marketing efforts with Safe Routes and their amazing leader, Susie Marquise. The Cleveland Metro Parks Nature Tracks Mobile Classroom and Nature Center will be present, thanks to the work of Barb and Dave Stepik, and there will be many children activities sponsored by Campus Life and Brooklyn School volunteers. The committee is working on other activities like pie baking contest and a bonfire towards the end of the night. Again, this event is in response to many residents asking for more city events to bring our community back together. And so far, because of the amazing team on this committee, we have used the collaboration with local businesses, the city, and the school to have something for everyone here at this event. And thankfully, because of this work and partnership, the cost has been very minimal so far. And that concludes my report and the mayor's report.
Thank you. On February 10th at the Senior Center, there'll be coffee with the mayor. Myself and my directors will be there for anybody that has any questions. So that's February 10th at 10 o'clock at the Senior Center. On February 7th, the Brooklyn Chamber will hold their Taste of Brooklyn at the Ridge Party Center. It's $20 a person. And the restaurants that'll be there are Aldo's, Applebee's, Buffalo Wild Wings, Carrabba's, Hooley House, the Polaris Career Center, Rockney's, Skyline Chili, and the Sausage Shop. So there's plenty to pick from. Last week I met with the head of the Parma Hospital. They wanted to bring us up to date on what's going on at their UH hospital. And they said they've added 12 new doctors. Their goal is to double the size of the pediatrics. and also work to make Parma noted for their stroke care. So they're noted for their handling heart attacks now, and they also want to be noted for the strokes, to handling that. So they also said if council wanted them to come in front of council to give a report, they'd be happy to do so. All we have to do is call them. This week, the bids are going to go out for the City Hall ramp at the west end of the building to be repaired. So those bids will be going out this week. I also had a meeting at the sewer district, and I jotted down a few items that they said. It said 312 miles belong to the district, but 3,107 miles of sewer lines belong to the local city governments to maintain. And 60% of all the water treated through the sewer plants does not go through a meter, 60%. And there's still no answer on the lawsuit that was heard in September. They're waiting, that's the EPA lawsuit. Also, I was notified today that the gas company is going to start working the first week in February on Bidoff, and between Forest Edge and Bentwood, both north and south of Bidoff, they're going to be replacing old gas lines. There's a lot more streets, but it's all in that area. And that'll start the first week in February, so we'll be seeing some orange barrels in that area. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Move on to director's reports, and all we have up tonight is our finance director, Dan Enovich.
Thank you, Council President Gallagher. Year-to-date through the 26th of January, our general fund revenues were $1,280,112.55. And the general fund expenses for the same period were $849,357.89. Our encumbered general fund balance on January 26th is $8,583,186.51. When you include the two sub-funds, the Budget Stabilization Fund, it's our rainy day fund, and the Economic Development Fund, the total encumbered general fund balance is $12,066,991.96. Our total unexpended balance in all funds is $24,768,705.52. I expect to have the 2015 permanent budget placed on the first reading at the January 9th council meeting, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. First up tonight, we have confirmation of appointments. And we have a confirmation of the mayor's appointment for the UH Parma Board of Directors, Jacqueline Patton.
Motion to approve.
Second.
To confirm the appointment, Kevin Tansky,
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher. Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Okay, we have two requests. First, we have a request for the one-year full maintenance service program for refrigeration, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning for the John M. Recreation Center for $26,868 from the K Company.
Motion to approve.
Second.
To approve the bid, Kevin Tansky,
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Next, we have a request to re-advertise for bids for a new fire alarm in the service garage.
Move to approve re-advertising for the bids.
Second.
To approve re-advertising, Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Okay, on to our legislation. First, ordinance 2015-1, amending ordinance 2008-10 as amended by ordinance 2013-64 entitled Establishing the Full-Time Position of Assistant Building Commissioner with Qualifications Necessary to Assist with State of Ohio mandated commercial, industrial, and residential inspections so as to maintain state certification of the building department. This is on second reading. Council is going to discuss this matter in executive session tonight. Ordinance 2015-2, authorizing the purchase of a Falcon asphalt recycler and hot box trailer and accessories for use by the Service Department for a total of $33,709 through the National Joint Powers Alliance contract.
Introduced by all, suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Kevin Tansky,
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher,
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk,
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Bellbeer.
Yes.
To adopt, Kevin Tansky,
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk,
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Bellbeer.
Yes.
Ordinance 2015-3 establishing fees for exercise classes within the Brooklyn Recreation Department and compensation for instructors. This is on first reading. And Maria, I have a quick question. What are the exercise classes that will be covered under the yearly and monthly pass?
That is yoga right now,
Okay,
and then the water aerobics that are not so machines.
okay. Next is ordinance 2015-4, authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract agreement with, we don't know yet, as a supplier of natural gas for city buildings. And
Move to hold in abeyance.
Second.
To hold in abeyance, Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk,
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Bellbeer.
Yes.
Okay, lastly, like I said, council is going to be moving to executive session. We are going to be discussing matters of personnel relating to the building department, to the fire department, and also negotiation updates. In executive session will be the mayor, the building commissioner, the fire chief, and the finance director and law director.
Move to convene.
So moved.
Session, sorry.
Second.
To adjourn to executive session, Kevin Tansky,
Yes.
Andy Selhertz,
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco,
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk,
Yes.
Kathy Pucci,
Yes.
Mary Bellbeer.
Yes.